Hello YouTube, No Name Gaming here, and we're playing a different game. Well, one thing, I am back from my trip from New York, which is cool. So, yeah, we're streaming a different game this time. I've seen this game before, What Remains of Edith Finch. It's a really cool game, and I want to play this on stream. So, I just started this up, and just wanted to, play this. Let me pull up. So yeah, this is a really cool game. I thoroughly enjoyed watching it, and now since it's available, we play it. So let's play. I literally just started playing as soon as I launched the game, so let's start this. So I won't be talking a lot because there's a lot of dialogue. I remember watching this game, so. What remains of Edith Finch?
A lot of this isn't going to make sense to you, and I'm sorry about that. I'm just going to start at the beginning, with the house.
Oh, I'm pregnant. Looks like it.
I lived here until I was 11, but I wasn't allowed inside half the rooms.
Hold on. I am pausing my... I'm turning off my fan because it might be making background noise. And let me check my audio if there's any background noise also. Let's continue playing. It's gonna be hot in my room, but let's continue. Oh, that's cool. Oh, that's 30 frames.
Inside the mailbox were bills from 7 years ago, marked urgent, open immediately.
Oh, that's cool. It's the house itself. And my PS4 is sounding like a jet.
I hadn't been back since my brother Lewis's funeral.
I'm gonna play this casually because it's just it's a story game. So. Oh wow! Just letters are strewn on the floor.
In her will, my mother left me a key, but didn't tell me what it unlocked. Maybe she thought I'd know. Or she thought that the mystery would be enough to bring me back.
Finches. Just like the bird.
No one had driven this way in a long time, but I saw a few hoof prints.
There's an option to have a reticle on your thing, but
The truth is, even after I inherited the house, I never thought I'd come back to it.
I feel like the reticle will ruin the game, so.
But now I had questions about my family that only the house knew the answers to.
Damn, 6 old.
The house was exactly like I remembered it, the way I'd been dreaming about it. As a child, the house made me uncomfortable in a way I couldn't put into words.
There's a missing Milton Finch is missing. Another one of Milton. More Milton.
Now, as a 17-year-old, I knew exactly what those words were. I was afraid of the house.
I'm 17 and I'm pregnant. I think.
I hoped the key might unlock the front door. It didn't. Looking in, I felt like the house itself had been waiting for me.
And the bird on the front is a finch too, which is cool. No, that just legit scared me.
Crawling through the doggy door used to be a lot easier when I was 11.
I'm gonna try playing this in one playthrough instead of like stopping the stream midway. I feel like this game is meant to be played in one sitting.
The power had been turned off the night we left. For the first time in years,
2010.
I felt like I was home. But instead of a family, there were just memories of one.
In loving memory, Edith Finch. 1988 to 2010, that's what? 12 would be 2000. Wow, he's young. He died when he's 22. Died very young. And I'm just gonna say, those magnets are really bright compared to the background, to the picture.
Like how only one restaurant would deliver to our house, so we had Chinese a lot. Or how after Louis started working at the cannery, we all got sick of eating salmon. Except our cat, Molly.
Yeah, you guys have a lot of canned food, fish.
The table was still a wreck from the night we left. It was like a bomb had gone off, killing everyone but sparing the furniture.
That's a way to put it.
My mom was the only one of us who could imagine Great-Grandma Edie living in a nursing home.
Don't put your family members in the nursing home. Just
Nothing in the
please.
house looked abnormal. There was just too much of it, like a smile with too many teeth.
Yeah, don't put your family, like your grandparents, in a nursing home. They don't deserve it. Like it's. I've been to one. I visited one for a club of mine in my school. They're just there waiting to die. Like no, none of the family is visiting them. Something's off here. Let's check it out. I stoned. There's still stuff here.
Mom always told me to stay out of the basement, so I wasn't too surprised when the key didn't fit. Great-Grandpa Sven built a music box for Barbara, along with the rest of the house.
There's still stuff
A
here.
lot of things got left behind in the whirlwind of that last night.
Whoa.
Edie told me once that every Finch who ever lived is buried somewhere in the library.
Whoa.
After Milton disappeared, Mom sealed up all the bedrooms. Then Edie retaliated and drilled peepholes.
Calvin and Sam Finch. Calvin. Oh wow.
My Grandpa Sam spent 7 years sharing a room with his dead brother, Calvin.
That's just harsh. Calvin, 1950 to 1961. Oh, he's 11. Calvin died when he was 11.
As a kid, I just assumed every house had peepholes and sealed rooms you weren't allowed inside of.
Whose is this? This is Gregory's. This looks like a bathroom. Die age of 1. Damn. This is Sven and Edie. Sven died when he was 59 years old. Pretty young still. And Edie died 83 would be 2000. 93, so yeah, Edie died quite an old age.
The last time I was in Edith Sr.'s room, I was 10 and she was painting my portrait.
It's a finch, again, more finches. Barbara Finch.
Whenever people ask me about my family, the first thing they always want to know about is Barbara.
Excuse me. He looks like Barbara Finch is an actor. Died when she was what, 16? Wow, that's also young.
Barbara was a child star for 2 years, until America grew out of it.
What's this?
Edie's father, Odin, built the original house.
Ooh. Subject goes up.
Mom must have locked the third floor stairs on the night we left.
No, I was starting to get cold for some reason. I don't like that. Okay. Ooh, open door. This is Molly's. She died maybe 43, 10 years old. Wow.
Molly always seemed like a girl I could imagine being friends with, if she hadn't died in 1947.
She died really young. The Finch family died really young. Milton is her father? Yeah, Milton would be her father.
I spent a lot of time playing in Great Uncle Walter's room. I think my mom sometimes regretted not sealing it up. Lewis told me there were secret passages, but I never believed him.
Is the key? This is the key that unlocks it. Yeah.
Turns out, my mom was really good at keeping secrets.
I have to push.
Now it was time to find out what my mom had been afraid of.
Oh, I have to push the joysticks to actually open that. Milton.
From the paintings on the wall, it was clear my brother Milton had been here before me.
Brother, Milton's her
Reading
brother.
this, maybe it sounds like I had a plan, but I had no idea what was behind that door. Just like I had no idea where all this was gonna lead.
Molly.
December 13th, 1947. Dear Diary, I'll be gone soon, but I wanted to tell somebody about what's gonna happen. It started when Mom sent me to bed without dinner. I woke up and I was starving, so I looked around for something to eat. The gerbil food was dry, but I didn't mind it. I thought about eating Christopher, but I held back.
Like slightly creeped out, but I know that there's no jump scares in this.
My Halloween candy was all gone. Mom, can I come out now?
Sweetheart, it's late. Go to sleep.
Oh, thingy.
I kept eating and eating.
Oh, really? Toothpaste.
ate a lot of things that night.
I don't think that's edible. Unless that's real cranberry.
Then I heard chirping outside my window.
So,
It was a barn swallow going back to her nest. I reached out for her. And suddenly, I was a cat.
oh, hold on. Where's the Roblox giveaway? I haven't reached the sub count yet. I haven't reached the sub count to do that giveaway.
I tried to be quiet, but the bird was really scared.
Probably 100 subs, I'll do it. But right now, I'm sitting at 57.
Mom and Dad didn't even look at me. The babies were all gone. I jumped and I almost got her.
I don't know where I'm going right now.
I could tell she was getting really tired. Now I was up in the big tree. I promised Dad I wouldn't climb it anymore. All I cared about was eating that mama bird. I gobbled her up. And suddenly, I was an owl. First, all I heard was the wind. Then I heard little teeth nibbling in the grass. Rabbits. I imagined his face looking up and seeing mine through my talons. I swallowed him up, and I didn't chew one bit. Then I flew off to find something bigger. A mama rabbit. She was almost too big to carry. I started choking, but I couldn't stop eating. And suddenly, I was a shark.
What's going on? Okay. What's going on?
I rolled off the cliff and into the ocean. Now, I was hungrier than ever. I wanted fat, juicy seals. I tore off her flipper, and it tasted really good.
There it is.
opened my eyes, everything had changed.
Oh.
Now I was a monster, and I smelled people everywhere. I was big, but I moved real quiet. I wanted to stop her, but also I didn't.
Belly with a rust.
After the last passenger, I was still hungry. And across the water, I smelled something new. Something I had to have, so I swam towards it. I slithered onto the sand, and the good smell went into an old pipe. I got closer and closer.
House. Or well, Molly's. Okay, so I'm just trying to.
All of my stomach started growling,
Oh, I'm an octopus. Because I know the.
and suddenly, I was me again. I held my breath for a long time, but I couldn't hear anything. I think it's waiting for me to fall asleep. But it's not going to wait much longer. It needs to feed, and we both know I will be delicious.
So that would be one of. Let's see if there's like.
I'm not sure if I believed all of that, but I'm sure Edie would have.
How many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Or how many doors are there?
I got the sense Edie had spent a lot of time here before my mom sealed the doors.
It's okay.
This will be obvious later, but my mom never told me any of these stories. Edie would have, but Mom didn't like bringing up the past. Though, when we adopted a stray kitten, she was the one who named it Molly. I spent a lot of time in Great-Grandma Edie's room.
Actually, on the bearded dragon, cockatiel, a budgie, another More birds. Leather budgie. A snake. Finch. And Drippy Jr.
We got along, and it was a good place to hide from my mom.
Built 1937. Sven Finch.
When Edie told people Sven was killed by a dragon, she could also have said he was building a dragon-shaped slide that collapsed. She could have, but she didn't. Even in her 90s, sometimes Edie seemed a lot younger than my mother. The only trace Grandpa Sam's first wife, Kay, left on the house was the pink bathroom. It was a pretty big trace. There's a secret in this bathroom. It's in the last place you would look. It isn't in the cupboard. It's hidden in this book.
No, I don't want to go in yet. Yeah, I still got the other book to read. In this room.
Her room was like a museum. For 500 years, the Finches have been famous throughout Norway for their fortune and misfortune. Odin Finch buries the latest victims of the family curse, his wife Ingeborg and their newborn son, Johan. On January 7th, 1937, he set sail with his family and his house, hoping to leave the curse behind. But 40-foot waves off the coast of Washington send the house and Odin to the bottom of the sea. Odin's daughter Edie, with husband Sven and baby Molly, step ashore on their new home, Orcas Island. Odin Finch is the first to be buried in the new family cemetery. His daughter Edie is already dreaming of it. New Finch house. Whatever's wrong with this family, it goes back a long ways. Edie gave a big interview about a mole man living under the Finch house. My mom was furious. One summer, they evacuated the island, but Edie refused to go. For a few weeks, she was a celebrity. I hadn't thought of myself as Edith Jr. for a long time.
It says Edie, which is short for Edith. And she's Edith Jr.
Sven gave Sam an old camera he'd refurbished. He never put it down.
He's developing some of them. skeleton. It's a lot of film. Sam.
I knew Grandpa Sam had a twin, and that he never talked about him. I guess my grandpa didn't like history any more than my mom did.
Thought it clipped through the ground.
How I Want to Remember My Brother by Sam Finch. The thing I remember is that when he made up his mind, that was it. My brother said he'd die before he ate another mushroom, and he did. At Barbara's funeral, we swore we'd never be afraid again, and he wasn't. I think Calvin always wanted to fly.
Sam! Calvin! Dinner's ready! Coming!
But that day, he finally made up his mind to do it. I told him going around was impossible. Maybe if I hadn't said that,
Calvin! I'm not gonna tell you again!
maybe if the wind hadn't picked up, then maybe he'd still be here. But I doubt it. I think he'd already made up his mind. That's what I want to remember about my brother. The day he made up his mind to fly. And he did.
Calvin's story felt strangely familiar. When I was younger, I remember trying to do the exact same thing.
Okay, so Molly died by getting eaten or starving to death, maybe, or poisoned herself by eating some of the things that was in there. Then Calvin died by swinging off of the swing and fling himself off the cliff. Odin was the first one to die, and he's the one who set sail from Sweden, remember correctly, and he was buried in the family
After
grave.
the funeral, Edie roped off Calvin's half of the room. Mom said Grandpa Sam enlisted at 18 and never set foot in the room again.
So he's a veteran. He's a veteran. There's some stuff I have. What is Sam? Do we have nothing for Sam? Should. Sam. Anything for Sam? Nothing for Sam? Oh, in here. So I guess this is like developing room. Nothing. Let's continue. Can't find it.
The passages were a pretty tight fit. They'd obviously been built for smaller hands and bellies.
So we're going into Barbara's.
Growing up, I always thought of Barbara as a child star.
Okay.
I never thought about how hard it must have been for her afterwards.
Oh, that's just disgusting. That's been there for ages.
Of all the stories people wrote about Barbara's death, I'm surprised Edie saved this one.
Old Jack here with another ghastly tale inspired by America's most unfortunate family. I'm calling it The Surprise Ending of Barbara Finch. As a child star, Barbara was famous for her scream. Now at 16, she was all washed up. A has-been. But in a lucky break, she'd been asked to perform her signature scream at a local convention for monster movie fans. It was just the boost her career needed. Unfortunately, her scream hadn't aged well.
Getting better. I think you just need the right motivation.
Her biggest fan and current boyfriend, Rick, was about to demonstrate when...
Now that was a great scream.
It was Barbara's father, Sven. He'd slipped into a table saw and had to be rushed to the emergency room. So Barbara got stuck babysitting her youngest brother, Walter. Her convention comeback was cancelled.
Okay, I'm hearing frustration, but I'm not hearing terror. What if I tried...
A gang of hoodlums in Halloween masks have been terrorizing Orcas Island tonight. Police are urging residents to...
That came from the basement.
You're right! Also, I loved your delivery on that. Why is your basement door locked?
Because my dad likes making puzzles and secret passages. There's a key hidden in the music box. The secret is to keep winding and winding until finally the key pops out.
Thanks, babe. I'll be back in a sec.
20 minutes later, Rick hadn't returned. So Barbara went to look for him, right on cue. She reached for the music box. And as she wound the key, she listened for Rick, but the house was silent.
Oh, I don't like this.
She found Rick's crutch and imagined the worst.
I don't like this at all.
The gang's leader is the infamous Hookman killer, Dr. Carl Hamill, who impaled and then ate his family 10 years ago tonight.
I don't like this.
The old fridge rattled and grew still.
Oh dear!
Barb, relax. I was just trying to scare you to help you find your scream.
Well, I'm not scared, Rick. I'm furious.
Then act furious. All I'm getting from you now is that you're hurt and confused and you're...
She threw him out, but she kept a little something to remember him by.
Barb, have you seen my other crutch?
And she was still holding it when she fell asleep watching the late picture show. Hours later...
Barbara! Walter, what's going on up there? Ah! Okay, I'm coming up, but if this is a trick, you're dead, Walter.
I don't like the fact that they... Oh, Mike Myers is funny.
Walter, are you there?
Walter had vanished, but his bedside radio was still on.
Orcas Island police describe the man as 6 feet tall, with a steel hook for a hand. Residents are urged to lock all doors and windows and notify the police of any suspicious activity.
Barbara turned, saw the Hookman, and was speechless. He was quite smashing. And he was. He couldn't get enough of Barbara.
Okay, Barbara, there's gotta be another way out of here.
That night, she played her part beautifully. She thought about abandoning Walter, but just couldn't do it. Molly's door hadn't been opened in years. The hinges groaned. He wasn't moving, but she sensed the story might not be over yet. The Hookman had vanished. She listened for his breathing, but all she heard was...
I'm like legit scared of it.
At the door, she heard whispering.
He's
from inside the house.
Oh dear.
Bravo, Barbara! You were wonderful!
The monsters had come to surprise her. For Barbara, it was a dream come true. Then she saw what kind of monsters they were, and she realized what was about to happen. She was going to be famous. And with her final breath, Barbara Finch gave the performance of her life. I wasn't there myself, but I hear Barbara was magnificent. Poor girl. She had a taste for stardom. But unfortunately, so did her fans. Of course, the police blamed it all on poor Rick, who disappeared the same night. And little Walter, hiding under his bed the whole time. He took it all pretty hard, but that's another story. As for Barbara, tucked inside the music box is all they ever found of her. Her ear. Now that's what I call a real eerie tale.
Edie told me all Barbara wanted was to be remembered, as absurd as that comic was. Maybe what Edie saw was a happy ending.
Now where to go? Oh, I have to go back out.
I guess now I know why Mom didn't like me playing with the music box.
It's the key to the basement. How long have we been streaming? Oh, bless me.
Mom said the basement was off limits, unless I wanted another tetanus shot.
There's the dragon.
I saw Edie sneak down to the basement once, carrying packages. I thought maybe she was hiding presents. It turned out she was hiding a lot more than that.
I'll bring the brightness.
I remember asking Mom once. About where Walter had gone. She said after Barbara died, he got as far away as he could. If there's a pattern in all these stories, I think it's that none of us has gotten very far.
It's a model kit. Shrink.
Goodbye, everyone. I can't believe I've been down here for 30 years. On that first day, after the shaking started, I didn't think I'd survive a week. But after a few days, I settled into a routine. That's what kept me sane. Having a schedule, living for today. I always expected to be dead tomorrow. But if you wait long enough, you get used to anything.
I actually have to grip the button and turn the joystick.
Even a monster on the other side of the door starts to feel normal.
This is really cool.
Almost friendly. And then one day, everything just stopped. Whatever that thing was, it was gone. Maybe it got tired of waiting. Or maybe I just got tired of being afraid. It's been a week now, the longest in 30 years. I'm done waiting. I have to leave while I still can.
It's a picture. Just a door.
I know it's out there somewhere. Whatever killed Barbara and Molly and Calvin. Maybe this is all a mistake. But I need to stop living the same day, even if it kills me. Whatever's out there, I want you to know I'm ready for it. I'm going to appreciate all of it, especially the food. I don't mind if I only have a year left, or a month, or a single week. I'd be happy with one more day. I can already imagine the sun on my face.
Walter died when I was 6. I can't believe my mom never told me he was down here.
What? 53 years old and he died?
I'm sure my mom was trying to protect me. Maybe she was afraid I'd end up like Walter. But if she never told me about an uncle under the house, I can only imagine what else she was hiding.
Oh, that explains the moment under the house.
I don't want to make the same mistakes she made. Trying to bury something that's still alive. Now that there's only one of us left, or maybe two, I thought it was time I heard the stories for myself and found out what happened to everyone else. But now I'm worried the stories themselves might be the problem. Maybe we believed so much in a family curse, we made it real.
Did they get hit by a train? There's the house again. Let's like first. This way.
I don't know if I should even be writing this. Maybe it'd be better if all this just died with me.
It's dark.
But I thought you should know about your family.
So, is she writing this? Like, as you like, as words?
And the history you're a part of.
Ooh, I'm gaining viewers. That's really cool. It's the most views I've had in a while. So I guess I'm writing to the child that the characters played. They're playing. Okay. Where should we go? Let's go here. Nice.
Though to be honest, I feel as lost as you probably do right now. I think the people in these stories believed them, for what that's worth. And when you look at the house, that history of imagination and stubbornness and madness, any of it seems possible.
I don't go through that.
I think we've been surrounded by death for so long, we've just gotten used to it. What kind of family finishes building a cemetery before starting the house? It's embarrassing for me to admit this, but the pet cemetery made me more uncomfortable than the human one. Three of the gerbils are mine, and 2 had been my fault.
Oh.
Sven built the house, but it was Edie who designed the cemetery.
It looks like they have symbols for those representing them. Molly Finch, the cat. Oh, got the owl, the cat. 10 years old. Cat angel, here. Calvin Finch. You got the rocket. One who wanted to fly. Sven Finch, the one who built the house. Saw. Oh, he died young. He's 59 years old. 49 years old. Edith Finch. Let's go. That's cool. I really like it. It's a miniature, which makes sense. That star, 16 years old. 50, 53.
I'm sure Odin's monument had been Edie's idea. My mom was always trying to move on, but for Edie, the past never went away.
Never forget your past. It's good to move on, but always remember.
She could see it poking out of the water at low tide. Edie said she dreamed about the old house every night. Edie's side was always easier for me to understand. But the older I get, the more I can see where my mom was coming from. Her dad had been pretty strict, but it wasn't enough to save her brothers. She was just trying to do better.
Finch died at the age of 1. Sam died at the age of 33. Gus died at the age of 13. Sanjay Kumar.
She lost 2 of her brothers, just like I did. I get why she tried so hard to protect us.
Sanjay Kumar? Who's he? He doesn't show the Finch name.
We never found Milton's body, so my mom insisted we were putting up a monument, not a tombstone. There's so many things I wish I could ask my mom now. Part of me thinks this is what she wanted all along. For me to come back someday and find everything out for myself. But looking back on it now, if she told me there was going to be so much climbing, I never would have come when I was 22 weeks pregnant.
Ladder's over there. Ladder's over there. Let's get up here.
I never met Grandpa Sam, but I think he and my mom had a lot in common.
I think this is a good place to stop. I'm quite tired and I'm gonna go have to sleep. So yeah. That'll be all for now for What Remains of Edith Finch. We'll continue on tomorrow, probably once I wake up. I'll continue on this game. So, if you enjoyed this game, just do whatever you want. If you want to contact me, I have all my social media. It's just down there. So, alright. This is not Name Gaming. I'll be signing off.